is still the same. Let us fill this biframe with counters. Click on it to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When a biframe is full, you know that there are 5 counters. How many more counters do you need to make 8? To find out, start at 5 and count forward. 5, 6, 7, 8. How many red counters are below the biframe? Select your answer.
So before we select our answer, I just want to go over what they mentioned. At the top in the biframe that you see here with the yellow counters, they filled up the entire row of 5. And then once that's filled up, they go down to the next row. So when you see your 10 frame, boys and girls, and we're going to practice this together right now, we always have to make sure that the top frame, the 5 frame, is filled in before going down to the bottom. Okay, so they want to know how many red counters do we have? Who can answer that question? How many red counters do we have? Dominic, do we have 3 or 5? Which number do I touch?
Number 3. Find it.
All right, let's see.
Right, there are 3 red counters. You have 5 yellow counters
I find
and
it.
3 red counters. That makes 8 counters in all. 8 is 3 more than 5. You counted 3 more than 5 to get 8.
So we're going to explore today in our math book, boys and girls, how to form the number 8 in different ways using the yellow counters and the red counters, okay? So we're going to go back to our presentation. So right here, we're going to be working on the first page, 143. So on page 143, you're going to see a border around the page. Looks like some colorful balls. So here, what they want us to do is we're going to model 7 objects, and then we're going to show 1 more. So what we're going to do is this. We are going to illustrate first 7, and then we are going to show 1 more. Okay, so let's get started. First one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Ms. Castro did not form the number 2 correctly, so I got to go back and fix that. There we go. After 3 comes 4. Then comes 5. There we go. Then comes 6. Next is 7. So they wanted us to illustrate 7 objects. So here we have 7, but then they wanted us to make 1 more. So when you make 1 more after 7, you illustrate the next number, which would be 8. So in your books, boys and girls, you're illustrating first the 7 circles, label each circle with the number, and then when you do 1 more than 7, it is the number 8. Okay, so I'm going to leave this up on the screen for another moment, and then we're going to turn to the next page. All right, on the next page, we are on page 144. So let's look up at the top first. So in number 1, where the red apple is, they showed us a way to make the number 8. So all we're going to do is we're going to count and label those counters that they have there, and then we're going to trace the number 8. So let's start counting and labeling. Start with the first red counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, you start with the first yellow counter. Then you continue 7 and 8. And I'm going to stop at 8 because 8 is the last number that I counted and labeled. So since we counted and labeled 8 counters, we're going to go ahead and trace the number 8. So when you form the number 8, boys and girls, you're going to start at the blue dot and you're going to go backwards and around and down, kind of like forming the letter S. And then you make a loop and you close it up. And then that's how you form the number 8. We're going to get more practice forming the number 8 tomorrow. Okay, so let's look here at the next question. Next question is asking, how many more to make 8? So look at the top problem. They showed us 5 red, which they already did for us. We have 5 red. And they want to know how many yellow do we need to get to 8. So if you count the yellow, with your magic finger, how many yellow do we need to get to 8? Who can help me out with that? How many yellow do we have?
Me.
Okay, Dylan, remember the rules of class. You cannot unmute yourself and say me, me, me. You have to raise your hand. Miss Castro's looking at everyone's video and I will call on you, okay? So Elijah, I like how you're sitting. Thank you for doing that and you're raising your hand. I would like for you to unmute yourself, Elijah. Elijah, how many yellow do we need? How many do they have there that will help us to get to 8?
3.
Excellent. Thank you, Elijah. So when you count the yellow, boys and girls, with your magic finger, you count 1 yellow, 2 yellow, 3 yellows. So on the line, boys and girls, you're going to write the number 3 because 5 red and 3 yellow give us 8. Okay. Now we're going to go down to the bottom, number 3. They simply want us to show the number 8 using the 10 frame. So this is the very important part. Ready? Start with the first box. Start labeling with the number 1. Keep going until you fill in the top frame. Do not go down to the bottom frame until you have filled up that top frame. So you keep